New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. What if you had a place to return to every day for peace, clarity, and connection? The New Thought Ministry of Prayer offers live morning and evening prayer, along with a growing library you can access anytime. This is a space for reflection, renewal, and real spiritual practice, rooted in the understanding that something greater is already alive within you. You are welcome here. Join us live or watch anytime. The New Thought Ministry of Prayer, part of the New Thought Media Network. Come, take a moment for what matters most.
and for 3 minutes you have not heard a word that I have said, and I cannot even begin to repeat all of it. Thank you, Anita, because I didn't realize that my broadcast was on mute. So, what are we talking about today? Oh, live broadcast. You just can't make this stuff up. Okay, so today on Inclusive Church, I am your host, Tracy Brown, author of Stained Glass Spirit, becoming a spiritual community where oneness does not require sameness. And on the show, we talk about what is it that makes our spiritual communities inclusive. What do leaders in our churches need to do in order to not only commit to, but to embody inclusion? And today we're talking about the impact of artificial intelligence, AI. And I'm not an expert on this, but I believe I have some opinions, and I know I have a lot of questions. And so we're going to dive into just exploring the topic AI and divine mind, or AI and our inclusive churches. So let me start with a prompt that I put into the internet search engine, which of course then used AI to augment the response. My search prompt was this: is there danger of AI affecting New Thought spirituality? And actually, I didn't expect to get a good response. I had like 4 prompts ready to go a little bit deeper. But I just stopped at the first one because this was the response. Yes, AI presents significant risks to New Thought spirituality, for example, unity, science of mind, and general manifestation practices. The core danger lies in outsourcing personal spiritual intuition, self reflection, and inner truth, the very pillars of New Thought, to algorithms that are inherently materialistic and biased. The primary risks include erosion of intuition, materialistic conditioning, homogenation of beliefs, confirmation bias and echo chambers, displacement of community. And I may share more of what it says about each of those things, but it goes on to say, while AI can be a helpful tool for organizing ideas or quickly summarizing historical spiritual texts, relying on it as an ultimate authority directly conflicts with the foundational New Thought premise that the ultimate power lies in the individual. Wow. Now, I really didn't have any idea. I didn't anticipate what AI might tell me. When I decided to go with this topic, I was thinking of a couple of examples that I've recently run into. And one of those examples is there's such a proliferation on YouTube, especially Spotify, also, wherever you're getting music, but on YouTube especially, there's been a proliferation of really huge increase in the last year of artists who are actually AI, they're not AI created artists, and all of the music or all of the affirmations are also AI created. So, for example, let's say that I've written a lot of affirmations in my time, and let's say I wanted to create, and I actually, one of the reasons this stood out for me was because I was thinking about creating a YouTube channel that was made up of collections of affirmations, and and I was thinking about doing that, and so I went to YouTube to look for who might already be doing that. And, I already had affirmations that I have in my playlist, collections of affirmations in my playbook and playlist. And I thought, maybe I could do that. And so I'm looking and many, I almost could say most, but I will say right now, many of the YouTube channels I found that were based on affirmations were clearly, the videos were animated characters, AI created, and their affirmations were over AI created music. And I just found it fascinating. I wasn't offended by it. I just found it fascinating. And I thought, oh, I also could do that because I know how to use AI music and AI video creation. But I just hadn't thought to do that with directly spiritual content. And I still will probably do it using affirmations that I write and using music that I paid royalty for as the underpinning music. But who knows? Maybe I will do some of that and some of the other. But it did get me thinking, like, wow, what would happen if everybody just put into AI, write me 31 affirmations on health and fitness, and then put that list of 31 or took them one by one but created and let the AI do it all. Is it cheating, or is it using the available technology as a tool? The same thing with musical artists. There are more and more songs being shared with me by other people, and they're like, oh, you're going to love this song. It's spiritual, right? And it's about this theme. And then I go watch the video, and it's an AI created video and an AI created song. And a couple of weeks ago, I was in a conversation, and it wasn't a debate, really was just a conversation about who do you attribute, right? If it's an AI, it's a YouTube channel, and the artist is named, I don't know, let's just make up a name. The artist is named Bill Davidson. And there's a write up about Bill Davidson, and putting out spiritual music. And then you realize it's all AI, and Bill Davidson is an AI created visual that, you can use that same description or character in multiple videos. So who do you attribute? You attribute Bill Davidson, but who's behind Bill Davidson? And then you notice that if you want to download the song, you can download each song for 99 cents each, or you can download the whole album, the whole playlist for $9.99. And you're like, Bill Davidson, I just bought it, spent $10 with Bill Davidson, but who's actually getting the money? Did they create the lyrics? Do they get full credit when they have used technology to create a character and to create music? So they have created something. It's a lot to think about. Now, I want to think about it not just from a moral perspective, which is the conversation I was in a couple of weeks ago. Who do you attribute, and is it morally correct, ethically, maybe is a better word, ethically sound practice? But this is the inclusive church. So we're going to also talk about it from the perspective of, if you can say, in my spiritual community, we have made a commitment to be inclusive. And our music director had this idea of taking a song that we sing all the time on a regular basis and putting it into an AI platform that creates music and videos. And our instruction was to take this song, and which people have liked for a long time, create a new song with the same theme using reggae, contemporary reggae music. And so the AI writes a new song with the same key message, but different lyrics and different music. So the original song was just used as kind of here's the theme, and we want something with the same message, but we want a completely different song. Because we have a lot of people who love reggae music, and we want to bring in more people from the community that we know loves reggae music. Wow. Is that brilliant? Is that divine mind in action? Or is it cheating? Or is it cheating people who are creators of music, lyrics, poetry, lyrics, and music out of an opportunity to contribute? Is it manipulation because you didn't actually create the music, but you're targeting a certain community? And maybe reggae music is a bit of a stretch for some of you listening. So let's say we took a song and we said we wanted a song with that message, but we were targeting young adults between the ages of 18 and 25, and we wanted it to sound like, contemporary popular music today, because we're trying to grow our young adult attendance and membership. What do you think? Is using AI to create music that might resonate with them, with that group? I don't know. So I actually don't have a formed opinion about that. And I'm probably going to play around with it, but it's a question that we have to ask, and we have to ask it in our spiritual community if we're going to be using AI created content. Now, I've talked about music and spiritual practice. Let's talk about talks and classes. So, I've been playing a lot with, okay, I'm going to use AI for my graphics to create graphics. But even with that, I sometimes have thought about, well, so 5 years ago, how would I have created my graphics? Now, for me personally, I can say 5 years ago, I would have been spending hours and hours on Canva, putting different pieces together. I might have for certain big events, I might have hired a freelancer on Fiverr or someone who works for me on a retainer. I might have paid them to create the graphics. But that wasn't my norm. That might have been 10%, and 90% I created them myself. So it's not too unusual for me to use whatever tools and technology are available to kind of be creative and come up with the kind of graphics that I want. So I've been using AI and testing this out, and how does it feel? But it's the same question as with music or spiritual practice affirmations in terms of who do you attribute? When can I put my name on it if I have kind of turned over a lot of the creative elements? And if I want to reach a certain group with my graphics, will they be different? So I did some graphics about a month ago in preparation for Pride Month. And of course, in the prompts, I specifically talked about, this is for Pride Month. I need a slide, introducing Tracy Brown, and it's for a presentation to PFLAG and I really, want the graphics to reflect Pride Month and blah, 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 blah. And I created it, but I didn't create all of it. So, and I was specifically using it in order to create a graphic that was effectively tailored to a specific audience that I was serving. So I don't know what the answer is. So let's look at one more aspect of this. And this, let me summarize where I think AI can be really good at where we are in 2026 with AI. I think AI is really good and effective and appropriately used for research, like me putting in the prompt about what are the dangers of AI affecting New Thought spirituality. It's going to go out and look at a lot of things. But if I were then doing an actual talk based on what came up, I would not be just quoting this, as a brain dump. I would be reading it. I would then be going and verifying some of the information, seeing if there are other sources. I would be asking what was the source for the information, just like I would verify any other research method. If I went to the library and found a book, I would either attribute the book and quote a line or two, or I would make note of the 3 or 4 things that really stood out for me, and then I would go and look in other places to corroborate that information before I made it my own or included it in my talk. And so I think AI in that sense is really good. I think AI can be used effectively if you are giving a talk or if you are teaching a class, not just for research information, but also if you are wanting to create a series, for example. If you are wanting to do some in-depth and you want some ideas about how you might structure it, and or if you are marketing in your spiritual community, and I hope you are, you could use AI to outline or to present a marketing plan or the top 10 elements that you might include in a marketing plan targeting a specific geographic area or a specific identity group. But then again, once you had that base level of research, the danger is, do you just follow it or do you use it as a jumping off point. I think you should use it as a jumping off point, not as a finished product. So, what are the dangers? What are some of the things that I think are red flags? Although we really are having to face these right now, red flags and landmines. So, you may have seen, as I have every day, I see dozens. If I'm on my computer that day, I see dozens of examples of people who are in sales or people who are teaching, and you're seeing a clone of them present information or invite you to their webinar. And I admit I haven't done it yet, but don't be surprised if I do it this summer, like within the next 90 days, because I want to play with it and see what happens. And I expect that I will use it to deliver content that I have written, maybe affirmations, maybe lead a spiritual practice. At the same time, I see the potential danger in that because, like right now, I'm presenting to you live. If you put a question in the chat or in the comments, I'm going to see it. I'm going to adapt to it. When I'm teaching the Science of Mind class on New Thought Media Network, the Saturday morning Science of Mind, there's an interaction element. And I do know that there's a lot of sophistication, even with the clones, that can deal with that kind of interaction live. But as the researcher was sharing in that brief overview, one of the big dangers when we're talking about New Thought spirituality is that we teach any individual can be a revealer of truth. We teach that every person is an individual expression of the divine. A lot of what we teach about intuition and internal revelation of spiritual truth, it's like, do I want to trust that to technology and to the algorithms? And the answer might be yes, but I think it's something to really ponder and to talk about. One of the no-nos or red flags that I have imagined, but I haven't seen it yet, but I have imagined that, okay, so if you're watching this show and you're familiar with New Thought, there is a really good chance that you know who Michael Bernard Beckwith is. And I think about, what if you created a clone and animated Beckwith and you dumped into the system a few dozen, if not hundreds, of the talks that he has given. Is our technology sophisticated enough that then you could just press a button and say, write a talk in the style and voice of Michael Bernard Beckwith, and then have, like on a show like this, have a podcast that is Michael Bernard Beckwith on spirituality, but it's all created from AI using the framework of his past talks and an animated vision or clone of him physically. How do you feel about that? And if you could do that, and you are in a predominantly white congregation, but you really want to recruit, for lack of a better word, recruit and engage people of color, is it okay if you take all of your ministers or your spiritual leaders' talks from the last 6 months and enter them as kind of a character. These are the kind of messages, and you create a figure, a person, an animated person whose skin color is brown and whose features, look like more like mine, and then hit a button and say, create a 15-minute message for a weekly podcast, and people think they're welcome at your church, which they would be, but is it ethical? So I'm thinking about all of these things, and can you create a guru? And the answer actually is yes, because I've seen it done, not from the church yet, but I've seen it done with several health related products and services. There is a doctor who has a lot of information related to diabetes, and he or people around him have created this character who is a wise older Black doctor. And I must have I knew it was animated, but I thought the doctor it was representing was a Black doctor. And I must have watched 5 or 6 of these videos, and I thought, well, this is really good information. I want to share it with this person. I know this person is recently had a diagnosis of diabetes, and they would probably learn from this. And they've been looking for a Black doctor. And so, right, I'm thinking I'm going to share it. Something said, Tracy, look up this doctor, like in real life. And there was a doctor. It was the right name, and but the doctor was not an older Black doctor. Now, I didn't talk to this doctor. I wasn't even mad about it. I thought it was, on one level, brilliant. And I made up a story in my mind that this doctor knows that African Americans and Latinos have a disproportionately high diagnosis of diabetes and have a higher mortality rate from diabetes and complications of diabetes. And I'm guessing this doctor just really wants people to get that information. And because he thinks they may not take the information in from him, he's created, or his team has created, this character that is wise and feels trustworthy and is giving really good information. Do we want to do that with our churches? How do you feel about following and being informed by someone whose message is good, but they've created a character to target you or people who are in your identity group? Is this all divine mind at work? That's the bottom line question. Is AI simply another form for divine mind to take, to teach us, to reach us, and to give us the ability to share with others? I don't know the answer. I don't. But it's something for all of us to be thinking about. So, as I said near the beginning, maybe when I was on mute, I don't really have the answers to this one, but I think that sometimes it's 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 a topic we need to be talking about now before we just are at the tail end of it. And it's already taken over how we are presenting ourselves, who we are reaching out to, how we are reaching out to them. When are we using AI as a tool? And when is AI using us and taking over the personal connection that has proven to be such an important part of building our spiritual communities. So that's all I got for you today. It's really more questions than answers. A lot for all of us to be thinking about as we go forward. And my guess is that we'll be revisiting this conversation in 6 to 9 months right here on the Inclusive Church, because I'm going to experiment with it for a little while. I'm going to share with you where I felt the boundaries were and what happened when I pushed beyond any boundaries, so that we can learn and experience together. My name is Tracy Brown. This is the Inclusive Church, and I hope you will join me again next Tuesday at noon Mountain Time, right here on the New Thought Media Network.
Thanks for watching The Inclusive Church with Tracy Brown. Join us again next week at 12 noon Mountain Time.